Okay, so it is time for the Australian uh, version of Married at First Sight. I didn't get to see the first part, mind you, but I got to see the commitment ceremony, which is the most important part of all, because this is where we decide if we stay home, or I'm sorry, if we leave or stay. Now, they have all went to see the groom's side of how they would live with the groom in their residence, but they have not seen how the bride they would live with the bride. That's going to come next week. So, but this week we had the dinner party, which I didn't get to see too much of because Chrisley Knows Best ran over a whole hour. But they did the dinner party where there was huge confusion. It seemed like Alex and Yvonne were done. It was crystal clear. All I could keep seeing was how Alex was packing up her bags to go, and she had her wedding dress, which was, I would have been bawling, if I was the one leaving. But she holds it all together, and she's just done. And so then when all the couples come out and they sit down and they're getting ready for the big moment where they all have to face the experts, and they're waiting patiently to face the experts hit them with, well, we already lost one couple. Alex and Yvonne have left. And of course, all the couples are mad at their absence, how they weren't able to take the heat, in other words. But let's get to the good stuff. The people that stayed. Now, my favorite couple was up first, Steve and Michelle. It was a great week. They still liked each other, and Steve complimented Michelle and how proud he is of her. And Michelle told Michael, which is one of the husbands from Michael and Stacy, at the dinner party, that she loves Steve. And right then he hugged her and kissed her. And tonight when Steve said, I love you, they hugged and kissed. And then they revealed, are they staying or are they leaving? And they both said stay, and I was ecstatically happy. I am still happy. That is my one of my favorite couples, and I am just over the moon happy. Mike and Stacy, they just seem all around happy together. She's seen a vision of where her boys would be, and this and that would go, and they both wrote stay, and they're staying. How do I feel on that? More on that later. Jonathan and Connie. Connie has hope. Connie was very nervous going into the homestay, seeing how Johnny lived, because Johnny wrote leave last time. But Connie has feelings, and they've grown deeper for Johnny. She misses him when he's gone, even if it's the gym. She can't sleep unless he's right there. She feels funny, or Johnny feels like and then there's Johnny, who feels like she's funny and pretty, just no romantic connection or feelings. He doesn't want to go giving her false hope. Connie wrote stay. Johnny wrote leave. Johnny says he just has no desire for Connie. And the experts asked Connie how she's feeling. At this point, I would have looked at them and said, how do you think I feel? But Connie was stoic, pulled it all together. She felt embarrassed. But Johnny hoped that she would write stay. Now, this part is what confuses the bejesus out of me, and I think he is playing head games. And the reason he said that he hoped that she wrote stay, which confused Connie, no doubt, and all of us, was so that he could go to her homestay, meaning see how she lived. And Michelle says that's just not cool. Johnny says he's optimistic. Stacy tells him to get off the fence. Michael says it cripples Connie's confidence. And the experts step in and say, now you got feedback from the group, which this part kind of made me angry at the experts, because while they're giving their feedback, they interrupt them and just say, well, now you got 1 week to work on it. No, you take time out and spend it with that couple who is in despair. I mean, that just really bugged me. But then they moved on to Liz and Zeb, who had their first argument this week. Liz says, I'm not your project. You don't have to save me. Zeb said, I didn't hold back. We had time to calm down. It was a good learning experience not to make assumptions. Experts tell them, well done, and with the repair, and they are very affectionate with each other. Zeb writes stay, and Liz writes stay. Big surprise. They're still newlyweds. Casey and Drew. Now, I told you about this couple. Remember, I just don't see much hope for this couple. And to me, he's the epitome of a musician, and she's the epitome of a model. And when you have that combo going on, they're both so in love with each other, they don't have time to love each other. But anyway, back to Casey and Drew. Casey says they had issues this week, and Drew told Casey she isn't his type. Drew says a few things didn't go right, and she mentions how she collected items that she wanted to throw out, and the experts say you can't change someone. Casey feels Drew isn't compromising and tells the experts he keeps saying I'm not his type, and yet we have this chemistry. Drew says Casey is a, quote, kept woman, end quote. Casey says she wishes he would see the real her, and she says, I turned to you the other day. Her voice was shaking and quite emotional. Said, I'm lovable, you know. He pinpoints all the things that are wrong, and the experts say, she thinks you don't like her, Drew. And I thought, this isn't about being liked, okay? They're there to be married, not liked, okay? That should just automatically come with a package. And it says, he says to his defense, well, I do like Casey. And she's like, I've never had a guy pick on me before. What's the right way to handle it? She asked the experts for help on this. The experts just are like, let's get to the decision. Because they want to move on. And, you know, because basically Drew called her a materialistic Instagram girl, and he didn't want any part of that in her in her life. In his life. Sorry, I'm getting all fumbled up here. So anyway, Drew wrote stay. Experts, you need to think, and Casey wrote stay in hopes in time he will see her for the real her. And the experts say you need to think about what you to do and say to each other, and acceptance of each other is the assignment this week. No, the assignment this week is not to learn to love each other, not to learn to like each other. You're married to each other, okay? All that other stuff is out the window. You are on a time limit. You either do it or get off the pot. That's what I'm saying. Josh and Kathy. Now, this one was a heartbreaker, okay? Because they've been like a yo-yo too. One wants to work it out, one doesn't, and it's sad. Kathy hesitated going into the homestay. Josh got a vibe that she just didn't want to be there. Kathy finally spoke to how it felt to be cut down in front of his family, being blindsided on the couch with the experts, and then the homestay. Josh and Kathy agree that they just don't know each other, which I found ironic. After all that time they spent together, supposedly they're to be married to each other, they don't know each other because they don't give each other the opportunity to get to know each other. That makes sense, right? Because after all, you're just there to do what? Exactly. Kathy gets upset kind of when we go to commercial. Kathy comes back and she says, I found it hard to reflect on this relationship. And Kathy wrote leave. Josh wants someday for them to be friends, but he too wrote leave. Kathy is upset. Josh is disappointed. Yet they kiss on the cheek. He does her, and they hug. Shake my head, shake my head. There's only one ceremony left, so this coming week is absolutely pivotal. They go to the brides to get a taste of real world, the bride's side. Now, who do I think will make it after next week? Steve and Michelle better make it because they're one of my favorites. Mike and Stacy are on the fence. They're a maybe. Jonathan and Connie, I want you to make it. But Jonathan, I think you are playing head and heart games. Liz and Seb, you're still new, but you're in that honeymoon phase. So, yeah, you'll probably make it. Casey and Drew, I don't think you'll make it. And we've already lost Josh and Kathy, so we don't have to worry about them. But that is your report on the Australian version of Married at First Sight. So if you stay tuned next, we've got a book review to keep continuing to go until we finish the book. And we're going to do that. So don't go anywhere.